Today on Locked On Rockies, losing to the Dodgers always is frustrating, but losses like that, extra frustrating.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 26th day of June in the year 2025. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. If your team is the Colorado Rockies, you are in the right spot, because that's what we do around here each and every day, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Of course, on today's episode, we'll talk about Chase Dollander's great day that was unfortunately derailed by the rain, and you're going to look at the numbers at the end of it, and you're going to say, oh man, look at those runs associated to it. But you're going to realize that if it wasn't for the fact that the skies opened up and it started downpouring on it, the Rockies were going to be able to get out and avoid a jam that Chase Dollander was found himself in early, and the Rockies could have been in a different situation. But the difference there is it's a small thing, right? It's a how do you come back after an hour and a half delay and still be locked in? How are you able to come back in and do damage? And what we saw again was the Dodgers team that from the top down is just they're not only are they good, but they're professional. They know how to handle business, and they were able to take a close game and a game that was a pitcher's duel up until the finale, or up until that rain delay in the sixth inning, and bust it wide open. I mean, and do what they always do to the Rockies, which is hit home runs, drive in runs, and get production from across the lineup for them. And on the other side of it, the Rockies offense falls quiet for the first time in a while. So all in all, like, again, it's a loss to the Dodgers, but for the way that game started, and for it to be a back and forth pitcher's affair. And again, Yamamoto is a great pitcher. And when you look at what Yamamoto's skills are, it's no surprise that the Rockies struggled against him. But for it to be a close game, and then for after the rain delay for the Rockies to, get on the board to make it a 3-1 ball game going on the air, Hunter Goodman again, coming up, and man, another big moment for Ryan McMahon, where he just comes up flat, comes up empty with runners in scoring position, and it's another strikeout. It is just, again, it's unfortunate how much this team just strikes out and just the absolute worst possible times for them. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, look at the difference here. Again, yesterday's or in the game one, you kind of you saw that it got to be a close. So the Rockies were able to get back into this game and keep it close in that first one, because they were able to get strikeouts in that first one. But the Dodgers only struck out 3 times to the Rockies 11 times that they came in and struck out there. So it's a huge problem that persists in big time situations for these guys. And it just the small things, you have the catcher's interference that happens in this as well. But man, it's such a bummer that the way that game ends completely negates the fact that the Rockies' young arm, the Rockies' young exciting pitcher, Chase Dollander, goes up against the Dodgers for the first time he's seen the Dodgers at Coors Field. And again, it's not strikeout dominance, but nothing. Quick, effective innings, I believe, entering that sixth inning before the rain and before everything started. I think he was in like the 60 pitch range. He was going back and forth. He was right there with Yamamoto that entire time. And this, listen, that was just how the season has gone for the Rockies, right? A fly ball that should have ended the inning, but because it's impossible. I mean, the lights, the downpour, the everything. And of course, it just feels like there's been moments where the broadcasters cursed the Rockies a little bit. Drew Goodman was just talking about, like, I think I can't remember. Because I watched and listened to the game. So one of the either the radio or the TV broadcast was talking about, we're seeing the benefits of Estrada back on defense. And then it's that. And I'm not blaming Estrada, of course, because listen, that that ball was hit into just such a freak spot, and then it's 2 outs, so everyone's running, right? So no matter what, those are going across the plate, and of course that's how that is. Then hour and a half rain delay, and then it's just not sharp baseball. It's the Dodgers, being able to go out and hit a grand slam, hit another home run in the eighth as well. The Dodgers, after it being took full advantage of that 3-run sixth inning, and then played it another 5 right after that. It's just they're inevitable, man. It's just they're so good across the board. I mean, there's just no relief. Even Michael Conforto, who came into the series batting 176, is now homered in back-to-back games. The weak parts of the Dodgers lineups are coming in and doing damage. I mean, it was shocking to see Mookie Betts go 0 for 5 and Freddie Freeman only go 0 for 4 with the walk, but it still doesn't matter because the rest of these guys are just are so good, and they're so effective against the Rockies as well. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, the Rockies 4 through 9 in this game, over. The entire bottom half of the lineup, over. All of them except Arcia, at least 1 strikeout as well. Ryan McMahon 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. The strikeouts with Ryan McMahon have far surpassed an unacceptable amount. I mean, this is supposed to be a guy that's supposed to be the key piece of the Rockies offense, or a trade piece, or anything like that. But it is plain and simply just unacceptable that the Rockies can't have a hitter in the 4-hole that doesn't just strike out. I mean, you can't just sit here and hope that that they're going to magically turn into the Schwarbers and do what they do, because they're not that. For Ryan McMahon to be so unclutch, and to have that history of not being able to be clutch, of being inconsistent, of striking out, it's incredibly disappointing. I am reaching a point where with Ryan McMahon, where he is a great baseball player, great defensively and stuff like that, but we can't sit here and allow ourselves to believe that he is he can be the centerpiece of any offense. He is far too inconsistent and strikes out far too much and doesn't hit nearly enough home runs and doesn't do enough damage, even with the strong performances that he's had. I know that he's turned things around. I know that things have improved. Again, I am not sitting here and saying that Ryan McMahon is washed, or he's not effective, or he's not able to be a solid contributor. But even with some hot flashes, the guy still he's batting 222, 333 in his last 27 plate appearances. Over his last 30 games, he's 245, 314, and 464 in average OBP and slugging. In that time, he's got 38 strikeouts over 110 at-bats, 11 walks, only driven in 13 in that time. He's got the 6 home runs. That's a good sign. But the fact that it's not only just a strikeout, it's 2 strikeouts, it's 3 strikeouts, it's golden sombrero. It's just flat out unacceptable. He is supposed to be the leader. He is the leader of this team. He is supposed to be the guy that sets the stage and sets the foundation, and a guy that this team has really backed and really believed in. There needs to be this is what's tough about constantly throwing this. We say adjustment, but what can Ryan McMahon? What type of an adjustment will Ryan McMahon really be able to make at this point for a guy that strikes out constantly, that keeps that strikes out a ton throughout his career? I mean, when we're looking at this is a guy that, when you're looking at strikeouts this year, he's already got 100 strikeouts at this point in the season in 78 games this season. So double that. That's going to be he is on pace probably to have a career high in strikeouts. 185 the year before that, 198 the year before that, and it's only gotten worse. The strikeouts have only gotten worse as time's gotten on. Since 2019, where you had the 160 strikeouts, then you had the pandemic. It has only gone up. 147, he had that in 2021, but then it's gone up to 158, 198, slight decrease to 185 last year, but now gonna blow right through that, gonna blow right by that. And he does have the 12 homers, which is a good sign. But when you look at overall the career averages and the career OBPs and the career sluggings and stuff like that, it's mid at best. It's unfortunate that Ryan McMahon has never really blown me away in some stuff, because overall, the 1.6 WAR, 16.8 WAR on his career, but how much of that is the defense? How much of that is carried by the defense? When you look at the fan graphs, the WAR is still good. The numbers are still good. I guess what I come down to with the McMahon thing is it's the frustration in these clutch moments this year, where I was hoping that he could take the mantle and really solidify himself as that offensive threat in the heart of the order. And for it to just be, it just feels like the strikeout is so inevitable in the big situations is what's mostly frustrating, because the numbers, again, when you look at the numbers and when you look at the overall career and when you look at things, there's enough to back it up and say, hey, you're probably overreacting here. But we've seen a lot of examples in this season. We've seen a lot of examples over the career, the hot and cold, the streakiness of Ryan McMahon. And it just is frustrating when in a moment where this has to be your time, this has to be where you thrive, this has to be where you succeed and help the team. It's a strikeout, and it's another 3 strikeout day against a good team and a good pitcher. Let's take a break here and let's kind of revisit the good side of today, though. And let's revisit Chase Dollander having a success against the Dodgers here, and the Rockies keeping it close. But let's also highlight the fact that the Rockies did something today that they haven't done in a little bit of time. Breaking it all down coming up next. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help from an order, this is one of my favorite parts. You get expert industry leading service, not from a robot, not from a call-in menu. No, a real person every time. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, I should say, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5. That's promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Locked On Rockies here, back for segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for keeping us locked and loaded as your first listen of the day. As much as this game turned out to be a frustrating dud and there was some exhausting stuff, Tyler Freeman got a couple of hits in this ball game. Hunter Goodman, of course, got a hit as well. It was kind of weird with what happened with the challenge and the review, because I guess he's not technically given the RBI for that. It's not technically an RBI on that, so I guess it is scoring on the error. I forgot that's how it was, so of course that's why that's not an RBI. But let's give it up for Chase Dollander there too, where again, if it wasn't a freak of nature, there was a great chance that he was going to get through 6 innings worth of work, scoreless frames, only the 1 strikeout, a couple of walks there, but was able to navigate and get through the lineup without damage from the top hitters in the lineup. Shohei gets the single, Shohei gets on base, and there was a couple of traffic there before. But if that fly ball didn't get caught up with the forces of nature, Dollander's debut against the Dodgers has to make you feeling pretty confident. I mean, again, this is where we saw when he goes through the lineup the 3rd time that the numbers skyrocket there. And again, was facing the trouble there, was facing the situations with runners on 3rd and 2nd base there, but he gets that pop out. And if he was able to get out of that unscathed, who knows what the rest of that game would look like, as it was continuing to rapidly move through as a quick game with the pitcher's duel on the other side. But as the team has been able to be successful in kind of shifting through the losses and kind of, taking the sting out of it being a loss associated with it, that's a moment where you look at and you feel confident as Chase. I mean, again, you're going to see the 3 earned runs. You're going to see that part of that issue there. But when you look at it in the context of the game, that was an effective, solid start for Chase. He again wasn't striking out a ton of guys, had to deal with a couple of walks, but he was getting outs. He was being effective, keeping the pitch counts low, being effective with what he was bringing into that game against the best offense in baseball right now. So as much as we're going to sit, as much as that kind of the excitement of that and some of the numbers get washed away and that's a great sign for Chase. And that's got to be a confidence booster for him on the back end to go up against your division rival. Again, remember, we always put rival in quotes around here, but to go up against the dreaded Dodgers and to go up and not only be successful, but to be good, to be, to be solid, to navigate traffic, to navigate some trouble, to get out of jams, to execute when you needed to execute. That's a very good sign for him and a good feeling for Chase as well. Of course, you have to throw in the fact that that's not how the game ended up shaking out. Run scored on that pop fly. That pop fly was not caught. There was a third run associated with Chase, but to me, that's not what you should be taking away from this performance. That's not something you should be taking away from what Chase did. That's a start you can build off of and a start that you can feel a little bit better about. That's a big moment for a Rockies pitcher, right? To come in and take on the Dodgers and to be facing him to be facing them and be going at him head on like that. And unfortunately, it's another loss for the Rockies there with Chase. The Rockies have now lost four straight starts from Chase. Earned runs as well, at least 2 earned runs in the last 5 starts for Chase. But this one was a little bit different. I think when you're sitting there, like that's something that that he can build off of, hopefully. I mean, that was a good start. Unfortunately, on the other side, though, the Rockies offense did something in the game against the Dodgers that they haven't done in a few games, and that was only score 1 run. The Rockies have not have scored at least what was it? Let me see. I think it's at least 3 runs since the loss to the Braves back on, when was this? The 15th of June. So it was almost about a 10-day stretch here where the Rockies were scoring at least 3 or more runs. And then that came to a close against the Dodgers there. And that's a tough one to see. I like the fact that the offense was there, but they were just dominated. This was a game, unfortunately, where it was highlighted by the fact that the Dodgers are a much better team than the Rockies, right? This was where the Rockies were not able to Coors Field their way or get the ball in play or really be effective on offense against Yamamoto throughout this one. Got a little stuff going there again in the 6th, but still not enough. I mean, out hit their 9-5 by there. And like we said, I mean, it's flat out unacceptable for half your lineup to go hitless. I mean, this is just, it's just pretty painful here. And it's clear that the Rockies certainly continue to miss Ezequiel Tovar. Orlando Arcia, 198, 232, 275. Nifty play from Arcia there by a heads up play, getting the leading run at third early in the ball game. But still, as it's just so tough to see how much of a drop off the bottom of the lineup. But you kind of look on the other side too, and you see some batting averages and you see some stat lines that are kind of similar in some ways on the Dodgers side, but they're still just so effective at what they do. And the guys that have been struggling have come up big in this series, and that's not the same case for the Rockies. And again, mixed with the fact that this team struck out 11 times. I mean, it's just, that was a painful night for the Rockies offense, a painful night for the Rockies all around there at the end after what should be a solid start. The bullpen unable to get it done there as well. Jake Bird, 3 earned runs. Tyler Kinley allows a run. Anthony Molina allows a run. And of course, there's the grand slam that's associated there with Bird and kind of and split a little bit there. Just this one gets filed into the bummer lame losses. This was one of those ones where it's not frustrating because it was close and then it wasn't close. It was just like a wow. That's a total outmatching. That's an example of a game of that team being so much better than you in a different class, and those ones are hard to watch, especially with the way it starts, and especially with the way that, you know, kind of the energy and the passion the Rockies were playing with in that first game. I think the Dodgers kind of came in and gave them a little bit of a reminder, and of course the rain was an impact. The rain delay certainly, and the rain impacted that game, but that's just looking for an excuse for another loss. And at this point, it's not about excuses. It's about where did you execute and where didn't you execute. And the Rockies offense didn't execute, and the Rockies bullpen didn't execute either. So let's take a look at some YouTube comments, and we will get ready to look for the Rockies as they search for their first win against the Dodgers. We'll see what it looks like and see what the possibilities are for that for the next game coming up next. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. Games are already pretty exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. You can use FanDuel to track your favorite matchups, and the app keeps you fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. So that way you can kind of see, hey, maybe you got a hunch. Maybe you don't want to watch the Rockies so much and you want to see what's going on in the other world of baseball. Maybe make things a little bit more interesting when you put on, you take advantage of those daily promotions. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games, yes, and there's a lot of those baseball regular season games, feel like must-watch events. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's $5 for your first bet and get $150 bonus bet dollars if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to get started. Locked On Rockies here, bringing things to a close in segment number 3 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies, as the Rockies are now 0-5 against the Dodgers on the season after dropping yet another one to the Dodgers. The Dodgers hit win 50 after that. The Rockies are still searching for wins 19 and 20, so still not even halfway to the Dodgers win total there. And this will be the final game that the Rockies play against the Dodgers until August 18th. What a birthday present for myself there. Let's take a look here of any comments here, and let's read here. Dak says, been a Denver sports fan for a while, following Broncos and also the Nuggets. I decided to give the Rockies a try and start watching baseball again this year. Even though they are on a major win-loss ratio, the games are still entertaining to watch, and at least I can say I've been here at rock bottom like I did for the Broncos. It's time to rebuild. Any idea who the Rockies will draft with that 4th pick? Honestly, I have no idea. To be totally, one thing that I feel like I've always been pretty open about as my host of the show is that I always need to bring guests in and people in to keep us updated about prospects and certainly with the draft, and when it comes to that draft time, we will get some folks to break things down. So I don't really have much of an idea because I'm so distracted by just the overall state of the team and the development. Anything, it's like I don't really necessarily. Does it matter who they draft if they can't develop the player? Does it matter who they're looking at? How confident are we in this team in getting that player to be the best version of their self? That's still where I'm at right now. I'm still so focused on just the total disarray of the current state of the team and how we got here. That sometimes I don't allow myself, because I should be focusing more on the prospects. I certainly should be doing that more on the show. I certainly should be highlighting the things to be looking forward to and the guys in the pipeline to be bringing it up and things like that. But sometimes I think with that's just this isn't. I don't know. I shouldn't say this because the work that it takes and it's great that it exists and there should be good coverage for minor leaguers. I just don't want to distract myself from the historical awfulness that is this season, because we can't ignore this. We can't ignore the state that the Rockies are in. We can't ignore the people in charge and the philosophies and the things that have led to where the Rockies are at. I don't care what the Rockies do. I shouldn't say that I don't care what the Rockies do with their draft picks. because I'm more concerned at how do they handle this trade deadline? How can they get value for any players? How do they actually evaluate themselves and really look themselves in the mirror to figure out how to turn this thing around? And while drafting and developing players is key and important, and what they say is a big part about what they do, there's just so much more than that kind of distracts me and my thoughts about the Rockies and where we're at. So I'm not quite sure, but to answer your question, we'll definitely bring some more folks on to help us. And for me, I'm still in the vote of you need to continue to add offense to this team, and if you're not going to spend money on it, you have to be you should take the best bat available, because you've been focusing on pitchers for a while. And I think you need to continue to be adding offensive firepower, college age offensive firepower to your team to help this offense sooner rather than later. Let's see here. RK says, I'm not sure how much of a return that Brenton Doyle could even bring at this point. Might be a situation where you keep him at least until he starts hitting again, increases that trade value. Although my confidence is low in this front office to capitalize on a player's trade value. Yeah, well, the history is that is certainly backs you up on there, RK. But I think, again, as I mentioned yesterday, there's a lot of factors with the Brenton Doyle thing. And if you're not able to figure out how to build a successful team in the next few years, then trading Brenton Doyle should be an option. But I don't think you need to be like hard pressed to be making that decision for this deadline. Jim says, I agree with you about them coming up short with losses that they should win. That being said, I'm starting to feel like maybe the Rockies are turning a corner, and we are seeing some reasons to feel better about the team. Finally starting to see a better side of them and what they are capable of, but we still have to be realistic about it. Certainly, and that's what stinks about this the game there. It was kind of, again, that situation where, golly, the Rockies offense striking out. It's a bummer. But on the flip side, Chase Dollander is dueling right alongside it. Can the Rockies just get a little bit there to go with it? And you saw in game one again in this series against the Dodgers, with the Rockies going out ahead, you saw this team playing with confidence. You're seeing this team play with energy. But it's about it's about taking that and building off of that and being able to capitalize on jumping out ahead early and Coors Field shenanigans and do that. But then you get games like this one where that's what, as much as they're turning a corner and as much as things are better, and look at the top half of the lineup again, like we said, Freeman getting another hit, Beck and Goodman being, contributors to the offense and stuff. Great. But it's still far too unacceptable with how cold the rest of the lineup can be, how many strikeouts they have. But I'm with you. The games have been certainly more competitive, and like we said, first time the Rockies have been held to one run in about 10 games, in about 10 days, I should say. There, so the team certainly has turned a corner. Certainly has been playing more interesting ball, been playing better ball. June has been a much better month. It's not been a great month overall, but it's been a much better month than the first few months of the season were. So, yeah, they're turning a corner and things are looking a bit better. But like we mentioned, I like you said, got to keep being realistic. Got to keep looking at things like this, where it's like games like tonight are tough, because that's when a good team just handles business against you and gets the job done. Clayton Kershaw scheduled to take the bump against Austin Gomber here. 3-0 for Kershaw with a 3.31 ERA, 132 whip over 32 innings. He's allowed 31 hits over those 32 innings pitched. So people have been able to get that, but 24 strikeouts there as well, 12 walks. It's Clayton Kershaw, folks. I mean, I don't need to tell you anything that you don't know. Clayton Kershaw is very familiar and comfortable pitching against the Rockies. And Austin Gomber's got to bounce back after what happened there. The total seesaw that we've seen a bit for him in his career. So it's going to be during the day here. It's going to be a getaway day. And if the Rockies want to try to get their first win of the series, you're going to have to go up against one of the great Rockies boogeymen there in Clayton Kershaw. We'll see if they can get after it. We'll see if the Rockies can bring the offense back to life and chase Clayton out of the game there and get themselves win number 19 in their first win against the Dodgers. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming services, and we're on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. For your second listen of the day, check out Locked On MLB and Locked On MLB Game Night, covering you all things baseball from around the league and all the games from each and every night. And folks, we also got you covered with Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, and Buffs for all your Colorado sports coverage. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.